Good evening everyone. My name is Rukku Raju. Welcome to KP GATE classes. So I hope audio and video is clear for everyone. Can you please confirm in the chat box whether the audio is clear? Anybody please confirm whether the audio clear, then I can continue the section. Okay, thank you. So let's start a live section today. So as I said, my name is Rukku Raju. Welcome to KP classes. So today's live section is about an orientation class for geology. We'll be having a complete discussion about GATE, Geological Survey of India Combined Geoscientist Examination, NET CSIR Earth-science paper. I'll give you an overview regarding the section. So when it comes to the section, today we'll be discussing about the exam patterns, the entire different geology paper exam patterns in detail. We'll also discuss about the syllabus of all the different geology examinations, cut-off marks for the same, about KP classes coaching pattern, and a Q&A section. Whether whatever doubts you guys have, you can use the chat box to type it out. I'll check the question in between and I will answer them in the last. At the end of the section, we'll have a Q&A. Whatever doubts you have about all these competitive exams or about our coaching institute, you guys can ask it over there. So let's start. Before that, I want to give you an idea about us, KP classes. KP classes is simply an institute of IITians and ISM students. Over here we have different coaching subjects are there, like we give coaching for different topics. When it comes to geology, we give coaching for GATE entrance examination, GSI prelims paper, GSI mains, NET CSIR examination, IIT JAM examination, etc. There will be separate coaching sections for state PSUs. According to the notifications, we will give separate courses for the state PSUs or other competitive exams other than these major papers. So this is all about us. So we are a set of IITians over here helping the students, geology aspirants, in getting their dream job. So let's continue with the section over here. So when it comes to first part, that is the exam pattern section. Every competitive exam, even if it is GATE, geologist, combined geologist examination or NET CSIR paper, it should be mandatory that every student who are going to appear for that paper should have a minimum knowledge about the exam pattern. So every exam, like when people ask me whether the one who is preparing for GATE can, whether I might be able to give a NET examination if I am only following a GATE pattern or GATE syllabus. But actually over here, if I explain, entire geology portion is the same, subject is the same, difference comes with the pattern. GATE examination pattern is entirely different with NET examination pattern. So if you have good knowledge about subject along with a good understanding about the exam pattern, you will be able to score a good rank in all of these competitive exam. Let's one by one see all the exam patterns in detail. What is GATE exam pattern, what is GSI exam pattern, what is NET CSIR exam pattern in detail, and whatever doubts you guys have about any portion, please let me know in the comment section. We'll repeat it or we'll help you out in understanding, or we'll clear out your doubt now or in the Q&A part. So let's discuss about the first examination. Over here you can see that is GATE GG paper. When it comes to GATE examination, GATE GG paper, there are three different set of questions are there. Like I can divide a GATE question paper of geology. So we know geology and geophysics GATE paper, they say it's GATE GG, GATE Geology and geophysics. So this single paper I can divide it in 3 sections. First is the aptitude section that I have mentioned over here, that's the aptitude section. Part A, then it's a compulsory section for all candidates, those whether it is a geology student or it's a geophysics student, it's mandatory to attempt, or this common section, it's compulsory for the entire candidates who has applied for GATE GG paper. Then the third set is part B for geology candidates only. So then comes this part B, section 2 will be there, that's for geophysics candidates only. So over here in general aptitude, part A and part B section, altogether this entire paper is for 3 hours. This is a 3-hour set of paper, all around 100 marks of question, like it's total 100 marks are there. So if I divide the marks, 15 marks like it's is for the general aptitude section, plus 85 is for the subject mark, or from the subjective part. In the part from part A and part B, you can score 85, and 15 marks you can score from general aptitude section. So when it comes to the general aptitude section, I can divide general aptitude part into 2 different sections. First one is of 1 mark questions and the second one is of 2 mark questions. So there are total 5 questions are here in 1 mark section. Question number 1 to 5, all these 5 questions are of 1 mark. The rest of the next 5 questions are of 2 mark. So over here, this is 5 mark section, this is 5 into 2, that is 10 mark section over here. So altogether 15 marks from general aptitude section. I will discuss about the syllabus of each of this section in detail, what should be asked in general aptitude, what you have to study for part A compulsory section for both geology and geophysics students, what is the syllabus for part B section 1 geology section, only for geology candidate section, part B part. So that I will explain later on further in the next section of the video. We will discuss about the syllabus. So over here I am just explaining the pattern of examination. So as I mentioned, general aptitude can be divided into 2, 1 mark section of 5 mark of total 5 mark, and 2 mark section of total 10 marks. So both 10 questions are there in the general aptitude section. When it comes to negative marks, GATE general aptitude section has negative marking. For a 1 mark question, 1 by 3, like it's actually negative marking is present, and it's 1 by 3 will be cut for 1 mark question and 2 by 3 will be cut for 2 mark question. Then let's come to the next subject, that is next part, that is compulsory section for all candidates. So over here we know geophysics and geology questions will be there, and what are the types of questions that can be asked? They can ask MCQ question, they can ask MSQ question, they also can ask NAT question. What is MCQ, what is MSQ, and what is NAT? MCQ question means if I have a, let this be the question will have A, B, C, D, 4 options will be there. In this 4 option, only 1 option can be the right answer, like among the 4 options, only 1 will be the correct answer. That is called as MCQ question. Whereas MSQ question means, this is the question given, they will provide 4 options. Among the 4 options, more than 1 answer can be correct. That is called as MSQ. More than 1 answer can be correct. So MCQ, MSQ. Third one is NET question, that is numerical question. They will give you the question, but there is no option. Instead, we have to use the mouse given in the examination and use the virtual keyboard and click on that and give the answer according to the question, according to the calculation, that is NAT question. So over here, MCQ, MSQ, NAT, MCQ questions have negative marks if you have attempted a wrong question. If your answer has gone wrong, then there will be a negative marking. For MSQ question there is no negative marking. For NAT question also there is no negative marking. You should have an idea about like how many MSQ questions are usually like they have asked, how many NAT questions and how many MCQ questions. Let's discuss that. How many questions do they ask from each of these category? So as I said, part A, which is compulsory for all candidates. When it comes to the part A section, it consists of 1 mark question and 2 mark questions are there. 1 mark questions is 11 to question number 11 to question number 17 is 1 mark question. So that means 7 questions are there and that's for 7 marks. And this entire 7 mark questions are usually MCQ question. MCQ question. When it comes to the 2 mark section, that is question number 18 to question number 26. Question number 18 to question number 26 means there is altogether 9 questions are there, and that means 9 into 2, 18 marks. And this in 18 mark section, the depending upon the last year 2023, sorry, this year GATE paper 2023 GATE paper, if I explain the questions usually is one MCQ questions are there, MSQ questions are also there, and also NAT questions are there. In this particular section mostly it is NAT questions. 5 NAT questions was asked in GATE 2023 paper, and 2 MCQ question and 2 MSQ questions were asked in part A 2 mark section. So part A of GATE Geology paper, which is the compulsory section for all candidates, both geophysics and geology candidates have to attempt this section, and it can be divided into 2, that is 1 mark questions and the 2 mark questions. 1 mark questions is all about 7 questions are there, and the 2 mark questions is of 9 questions, and among these 9 questions 5 numericals were asked, 2 MSQ questions and 2 MCQ questions. I hope you guys understood what is MSQ and MCQ difference. So this is about the part A section questions and marks according to that and the type of question they do ask. Next, when it comes to the part B, or we call that as section 1 for geology students, section B is for geophysics student. In section 1, part B section 1, which is for geology candidates, there also they do ask MCQ, MSQ and NAT questions are there. Let's see the mark and the number of questions. Here also there is 1 mark question set and 2 mark question set is there. Both 1 mark and 2 mark questions are there. So when it comes to the 1 mark and 2 mark question, it's in the 1 mark section altogether it's of 18 questions are there. In this 18 question there is MCQ of 13 MCQ questions, MSQ is 1, NAT is 4. This is the number of questions they have asked in 2023 GATE. So in the 1 mark section total 18 questions are there. In that MCQ question is of 13, MSQ question was only asked 1, and there were 4 numerical questions in the 1 mark section of part B. In the 2 mark section there is altogether question number 45 to 65, that means 21 questions were there of 2 marks. So that is all around 42 marks ka section. In that 42 marks section there is MCQ questions are of 11, MSQ questions 4, NAT questions were 6. So this is how I can classify the number of questions which was asked in the GATE Geology paper. Okay, so next let's see about the rest of the section. So when it comes to, I hope this GATE Geology section is clear for everyone. So as I discussed, when it comes to the GATE Geology part, I can divide it into general aptitude section, part A, that is the compulsory section for all candidates, then part B, that is the section for the geology students. And when it comes to the general aptitude section, I can divide the general aptitude section into 1 mark section and 2 mark section. And in part A and part B also there is 1 mark and 2 mark section. Wherever there is MCQ question, there will be a negative mark. If the MCQ question is of 1 mark, the negative marking is for 1/3. If the MCQ question is of 2 marks, negative marking will be 2/3 will be the negative mark. So I hope the entire section is clear. So all around in part A there was only 2 MSQ question. In part B there was total 5 MSQ questions were asked in 2023. Where when it comes to NAT, the numerical question, in part B there were 10 numerical question, and in part A there were 5 numerical question. So altogether 15 numerical questions were there. Out of 85 questions, 15 numerical questions were asked in 2023 and rest is MSQ and MCQ. So all these numerical NAT question and MSQ multiple selection question, there is no negative mark, only negative marking is there for MCQ. So let's I hope the entire GATE paper of 3 hours with 100 marks is clear for everyone. Let's go to the next examination. When it comes to the next exam, next is CSIR Earth-science paper. When it comes to CSIR Earth-science paper, we know there is, it's not only earth science, right? There is earth science, atmospheric science, ocean science, planetary science, all these 4 topics or 4 subjects combined together. There is a NET CSIR paper which geology candidates or earth science candidates can also apply. So we write this particular NET CSIR examination where there is earth science questions will be asked, atmospheric science question, oceanography question and planetary science question. Yeah, we'll explain the, there is a section for cutoff mark also. I will be explaining the entire qualification mark for all these different set of examinations. So this is the section for the entire exam pattern. After this I like help you out with the syllabus and cutoff marks for all these examinations. Okay, so please wait and continue watching this section so that you guys will understand entire details about all the competitive exams for geology. So let's come back to NET CSIR paper. Earth science, atmospheric science, ocean science and planetary science paper. I can divide the entire NET paper into 3, part A, part B and part C. There are 3 sections over here. NET examination is also of 3 hours. It's a 3 hours paper and maximum mark is 200. Maximum mark is 200. Out of 200 you have to get, I'll show you, give you the cutoff mark so that you will understand how much percentage you should score out of 200 to get a CSIR, JRF or lectureship. Okay, I hope you guys know what is the importance of giving all these competitive exam. Why do you have to give GATE? GATE is for getting in. I have not went to that career guidance part because I thought this is an exam orientation for the different examination, right? So I'll also help you out with this. GATE examination has 3 uses. One is to get a job in PSUs, ONGC, Oil India, IUCL, Coal India, Neyveli Lignite Mine, NLC, Hindustan Copper Limited. In all these companies, you can get a job through your GATE score. That's the first use of having a good GATE score or having a good GATE rank. Second one is to get a MTech admission in IITs, ISIR, NITs, etc. In all these universities, you can get an MTech admission through your GATE score. or you can get a third one, that is the PhD admission. You can get a PhD admission in IITs through your GATE score. So this is the major use of having a GATE score. Like if you are GATE qualified, you can either get into a PhD research per field, or an MTech degree, or a job in a PSU, ONGC, IOCL, Oil India, Coal India, Hindustan Copper Limited, MECL, DRDO, all these companies, all these PSUs do intake through GATE rank or GATE score. So next, when it comes to NET CSIR paper, what is the use of NET CSIR paper? Why do we write NET examination? That is for getting a JRF scholarship, right? Junior Research Fellowship. To get a junior research fellowship, or to get into a research journey, like to get a PhD, you have to write a NET CSIR entrance examination, get a JRF fellowship, then only you will get the grant and get into a CSIR laboratory, or any reputed universities will give you a PhD through, or you will get an admission through this particular entrance examination through with JRF fellowship. Then there is another path, that is lectureship. With NET CSIR, there is both lectureship and JRF fellowship, junior research fellowship is also there. Lectureship is to do work as assistant professor. To get into a college as assistant professor, you require lectureship. So you can either qualify lectureship or JRF, or both. You can opt for both options in NET CSIR paper. Chalo, I hope you understood what is NET examination, what is the use of NET examination. Let's see the details of NET examination, the exam pattern in detail. So when it comes to NET examination, I can divide the entire paper into part A, part B, part C. What is part A? Part A is of general aptitude section, which is a mandatory part for everybody. Have to every student have to attempt this section, which is very mandatory. That is part A of NET CSIR paper of general aptitude section. So here in the part A, general aptitude section is of 20. There will be total 20 questions will be there, but there is an option. You don't need to write these 20 questions. Instead, there is optional maximum number of questions that you can attempt is actually 15. So out of 20, you can attempt only 15 questions from the question paper. So this is an online examination. Over here, maximum in part A, part B, part C are the three different sections. In part A, you can there are total 20 questions, from which maximum number of questions that you can attempt is 15. And over here, when it comes to this section, it's of 2 marks question. That means 15 into 2, it's a 30 mark section. Total you will get 30 marks. That's the maximum mark that you can score from this particular section. Yes, there is negative marking over here. 25% negative marking will be there in a 2 mark question of NET CSIR paper. Complete NET examination section is MCQ. There is no other type of question, only MCQ. There will be a question and 4 options. Among the 4 options, only 1 option will be correct. That is MCQ type of question. So over here, general aptitude, total 20 questions will be there. Maximum number of questions that a student can attempt is 15, and the mark from this section will be 15 into 2, that is 30 mark section. Now next one is part B. Part B is of earth, atmosphere, ocean and planetary questions will be there. Planetary science question, geology question, geophysics question, oceanography and atmospheric science. These are the 5 subjects that you have to study for NET examination. That the topics that you have to study and everything we'll discuss in the syllabus. So over here, part B, they will ask question from this entire 5 subjects. They will ask question from geology, oceanography, atmospheric science, planetary science, geophysics, etc. From all these 5 topics, they will ask you question. So over here, when it comes to the part B section, there are total 50 questions are there, and in these 50 questions there are, as I said, there is options over here. It's the maximum number of question a student can attempt is 35, and the mark is 2 mark question. So that means 35 into 2. This section is of a 70 mark section. Here also there is a negative mark of 25%. 25% negative marking will also be there. So part B is the subject part: geology, oceanography, climatology, meteorology, planetary science, geophysics questions will be there. Maximum number of questions that you can attempt is 35 out of 50 questions that they give. So it's kind of an option, like it's up to you which question you want to choose. That's there is an option for choosing question, which one the parts that you know, and answer them. There is negative marking. 25% will be deducted from your mark if the answer is wrong. Next is part C, which is very important. What's the importance of part C? Part C is a set of questions where they will measure the analytics efficiency or scientific efficiency of a student. So part C is mainly you have to apply. There is no direct questions over there. You have to apply your analytical skill to get the answer. So part C is very important, and in part C total number of questions are 80. Total number of questions is there are 80 questions, from which maximum number of attempt is only 25, and another important thing is it's of 4 mark. That means this entire section is of 100 mark section. So part C is of 100 mark section. Part B and part A combined will be of 100 mark. Part B is 70 marks, 70 marks question. Part A is 30 marks or question. So part C is a 100 mark section. So you have to score good. You have to use part C very well, so that you will be able to score a good mark from part C itself. You will be able to score a good mark. When it comes to numerical question, net examination also have numerical questions. So usually numerical questions are there in part C. They ask numerical questions in part C. Very rarely they give numerical questions in part B, and almost 10 to 15 is the number of questions, like numerical question range is 10 to 15, and though that is from part C, it's of 4 mark. So almost minimum number is 10, maximum till now they have asked 10 to 15 numerical questions in from part C. So you have to have an idea, and in part C these numerical questions are mainly asked from geophysics, engineering geology, hydrogeology, structural geology, etc. These are the major topics, and geochemistry. These are the major topics from which they ask numerical questions in net examination. So this is all about the patterns of sections. So all together total general aptitude, part B and part C all together there is 200 is the maximum mark. Maximum number of attempt, total question is 150 questions are there, out of which you need to only attempt, like here you can attempt 15, in this section 35, here it is 25. So all together out of 150 question you need to attempt only 75 question. That's the number of questions that you need to attempt. Maximum number of attempt can be 75, and maximum mark that you will be getting, maximum mark is 200. Okay, so there are 150 questions, and you can choose the questions that you know, and you can answer only 75 question, and for this 75 question you will be scoring maximum mark, you will be scoring will be 200. So I hope you got an idea about that paper. A detailed pattern is clear for everyone. Next, let's discuss about combined geoscientist examination, which is conducted by UPSC, Union Public Service Commission. Every year they come up with some vacancies for getting a job in Geological Survey of India or getting a job in CGWB, Central Groundwater Board. So either you will get as a geologist scientist grade A post, or in grade A itself hydrogeologist scientist B post in CGWB. So for getting a job in Geological Survey of India or in CGWB, you have to write this particular examination of combined geoscientist examination, which has 3 different stages: stage 1, stage 2 and stage 3. Stage 1 is of a simple preliminary examination, not very simple, it's actually a very tough exam actually. So stage 1 over here, it's a combined geoscientist preliminary examination, which is an objective type, but that's a offline objective type examination. Till now examinations are in offline pattern. For combined geoscientist examination, it's in offline pattern. Now in this offline preliminary examination, which is of objective type, there are paper 1 and paper 2, 2 different papers are there. In paper 1, it's of general studies, paper 2 is of geology and hydrogeology or hydrogeology. Whatever post you choose for, whether you want to be a hydrogeologist or whether you want to be a geologist, it's up to you. There is a paper 2 will be there. So paper 1 will be in the morning section and paper 2 will be in the evening section. So this, and both the papers will be of 2 hours. 2 hour section, 2 hour section. And when it comes to the number of questions, like there is 120 question will be over here, and there is another 120 question over here in the geology section or hydrogeology section. The first one is for 100 marks, whereas the geology paper is of 300 marks. So altogether stage 1 is out of 400 mark. Stage 1 is out of 400 mark. So when it comes to GSI or Geological Survey of India examination or CGWB examination, for scientist A grade geologist post or scientist B hydrogeologist post, you have to give a 3 stage of examination. Stage 1 a preliminary exam, stage 2 a mains paper, stage 3 is interview. In stage 1, that is the preliminary paper, you have 2 different sections, 2 different papers are there. Paper 1 is of a 2 hour section of objective offline examination. I'll give you the syllabus, it's general science paper. Then in part 2, like in afternoon, you have to write the paper 2, that's of geology, hydrogeology subjective section. That's also of 120 questions, 2 hour section, but the mark is of 300. Out of 300, you have to score maximum to get into the next stage, that is the written page, combined geoscientist main examination, which is a descriptive type. There are 3 different papers, paper 1, paper 2, paper 3 in stage 2. I'll give you the detailed syllabus of all these different papers. Each paper will be of 3 hours and of 200 mark. Paper 1, paper 2, paper, like in stage 2, there are 3 papers, paper 1, paper 2 and paper 3. So if you are opting for Geological Survey of India Scientist A grade geologist post, then paper 1, paper 2, paper 3. If you are opting for hydrogeologist post, you have to write paper 1, paper 2 and hydrogeology paper. If you are opting for both, then you have to write paper 1, paper 2, paper 3 and a hydrogeology paper. So this paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, each paper will be of 3 hour sections, 3 hour sections, and each is of 200 mark each. So 3 hours descriptive section, 200 marks you have to is the maximum mark that you can score from this descriptive paper. So paper 1, paper 2, paper 3 and the hydrogeology section. So all which like it's a 2 days descriptive examination pattern. Before there was an English examination also, but now the entire pattern has changed. So now there is no English paper, simply geology descriptive section is there. Next is stage 3, that is one of the toughest interview for geology students in India. GSI or the combined geoscientist examination stage 3 personality test or interview part is the toughest interview section, where you have to have a detailed knowledge about geology. A panel will be asking you from different parts of geology, question will be asked. So entire detailed knowledge should be there for getting a there to qualify the interview part or stage 3. So there should be a minimum mark you have to score from stage 1 and stage 2 to qualify for the stage 3. Then again in stage 3 you have to score a better mark, a minimum mark to qualify into the rank list. Then after stage 3 there will be the medical test and everything. So I hope combined geoscientist pattern is also clear for everyone. So as I discussed, we have GATE pattern, CSIR NET Earth-science pattern and combined geoscientist geologist examination pattern is clear for, hopefully clear for everyone. If you guys have any doubts about these sections, please let me know in the comment section. We'll explain it later on. Now let's see about the syllabus of each of this examination. GATE, GSI entrance examination and NET CSIR examination. What is the syllabus? Which are the subjects that you have to study to get a good mark or good score in each of this examination, and how here we combine these three, like how we, which are the topics which are important, and like what is the resemblance of GATE with NET, what is the resemblance of these two topics with UPSC paper. We'll discuss that in the next section. Excuse me for a moment. Welcome back all. So let's discuss the syllabus of each of the entrance examination. First let's see about the general aptitude section of GATE entrance examination. So as I discussed, GATE examination has three different sets are there. First one is like I can divide the GATE entrance examination into three different parts. First one is simply the general aptitude section. Then comes the part B compulsory section for every like geophysics and geology student. Then comes the part section 1 of part B, that's the geology student section. So this is the entire syllabus of general aptitude. So you guys can take a screenshot or like write it down from like pause and get a screenshot of this entire general aptitude syllabus over here. Simple, we can divide the general aptitude section into 4: verbal aptitude, quantitative aptitude, analytical aptitude and spatial aptitude. Okay, now when it comes to the verbal aptitude section, it's mainly they look into the basic English grammar part. They'll give you 1 or 2 questions will be there from this particular section. Not very important, maximum 2 questions will be there from this section. They'll give you a basic grammar, a vocabulary or a grammar question will be there. Then this reading and comprehensive narrative sequence, sometimes they'll give you a paragraph and they'll ask you a few questions from that, or so from a particular sentence you have to get the answer. So reading and comprehensive narrating sequence, 1 or 2 questions will be asked from this section. Next is quantitative aptitude, which is the most important part, where like they'll give you a data, a pie chart, a graph, or any other bar graph will be given, and you have to interpret answer from those graph actually. So the graphical representations will be there, or sometimes they'll give you 2 3-dimensional plots, maps or tables. From there you have to interpret the answer. Then there is the numerical computation, percentage, power, exponents, permutation, combinations, probability, statistics related questions can be asked. This part is the most important section actually. This part, like volume related calculations, the mensuration and geometry elementary, like they usually give calculate volume or area related questions will be there. This section is very important. Permutation, combination, logarithmic part, probability part, this is very important. Maximum question come from that section. Then in the analytical aptitude part, logical questions will be there, analogical, numerical relations, reasoning questions are asked. Then from spatial aptitude, they'll give you, sometimes they'll give you few shapes or patterns will be there, like, and they'll ask you how many number of faces are there in this particular shape, kind of questions will be asked. That also, like maximum 1 question will be asked from this particular section, 1 or 2, 1 question maximum. So most of the questions are asked from this single section, quantitative aptitude section, so which is very important. You should have a good idea, like this is not you always have to have a good idea about general aptitude section. You have to attend all maximum questions from this part. This is of 15 mark section actually. 10 questions will be there, 5 questions of 1 mark, 5 questions of 2 mark. Total 15 mark section. Maximum you score, that much less you can see further in the geology section. That much lesser will be your like the lesser you need to look into the next part, right? So maximum questions you have to score, so maximum you have to study about the general aptitude section. Let's move into the next part, that is part A of GATE, about the common section. When it comes to the GATE common section, as I said, entire geology and geophysics students have to attend this common section, which is this section is a compulsory part. Altogether there is 7 1 mark questions are there and 9 2 mark questions will be there, and this entire section will be having, these are the 12 topics from which they ask question in part A, which are the topics: planetary science, geotectonics, geophysics, geomorphology, structural geology, crystallography and mineralogy. Petrology means all the 3, like metamorphic, igneous and sedimentary, all the 3 petrology topics. Stratigraphy, coal and petroleum, remote sensing, engineering geology and hydrogeology. Not the entire topics are not required for common section. For example, from engineering geology, you need to study only the engineering properties of rock for section A. For section B, the entire other, the Q system, RMR, all those entire details of engineering geology is required. But for section A or part A section, only few topics of engineering geology will be there. And numerical questions are asked from these topics, like which are the important topics from which numerical questions come. Engineering geology, it's very important. Every year there will be 1 question from engineering geology. Engineering property of rock question will be asked from in the common section. 1 numerical will be asked from this topic. Another numerical will be asked from remote sensing for sure. Then the rest, last year there were 5 numerical questions were asked in this particular section. So among the rest of the topic, they ask numerical questions from geophysics, geotectonics also it's very important. Then sometimes hydrogeology related questions or igneous petrology related questions can also be asked. So these are the topics which are important numerical in sense of numerical questions. In part A, numerical questions, 2 mark questions will be asked, and for that you should have an idea about these topics. Very rarely they will ask you numericals from sedimentology also, very rarely. Coal and petroleum numerical also they ask, sometimes in section B, sometimes in part A. So usually they ask that in the section B only, part B. Okay, so I hope this is you got an idea about the syllabus, from where they ask numerical question. They also ask a multiple selection question, MSQ question in common section. MCQ questions are also there. So this part A and the syllabus is clear for everyone. Next is part B, geology subject. So when it comes to the geology subject over here, you don't need to worry about geophysics in part B, only geology questions will be asked. But there are all around 14 subjects are there that you have to study in depth for getting a good score in GATE paper. You should have an idea about entire geomorphology. Fluvial geomorphology is very important, aeolian geomorphology is very important, glacial geomorphology is very important, karst topography, volcanic landforms, all the geomorphology part questions are mainly they ask. Match the following questions from geomorphology. Structural geology, numericals they ask in part B section, they ask numericals from structural geology, or conceptual questions will be asked from structural geology. Crystallography mineralogy part is also very important. They ask detailed questions from mineralogy, crystallography also. Geochemistry, numerical questions are asked from geochemistry. Conceptual questions are also asked. From geochemistry, thermodynamics part, there will be numericals from thermodynamics part. There will be numericals from the radioactive geochemistry or isotope geochemistry section. So you can expect maximum 3 questions, 3 numericals, NAT questions, maximum 3 NAT questions can be asked from geochemistry itself. Then igneous petrology also, it's very important. 1 to 2 numerical questions can be asked from igneous petrology. From sedimentology, 1 numerical question can be asked. Structural geology also 1 to 2 NAT questions can be asked. From geomorphology also 1 NAT question, maximum they will ask 1 numerical question from geomorphology. Metamorphic petrology, like they will be asking about the, if numerical question come, that's about the phase rule. So phase rule related numerical question can be asked from metamorphic petrology. Paleontology, there is no numerical question. Stratigraphy, no numerical question. From resource geology over here, resource geology is a topic mentioned in the GATE syllabus that consists of coal geology, petroleum geology and the ore geology part and ore and economics part. So from here they can ask numerical question from coal, they can also ask numerical question from ore geology. So 1 to 2 NAT questions can be asked from this topic. From tectonics part is much more important in part A. They ask numerical questions from tectonics in part A rather than part B. Mainly we get to see numericals in part A from geotectonics than part B. Then hydrogeology section is important. 1 to 2 numerical questions are asked from hydrogeology. Remote sensing is also mainly numericals are asked and numericals are mainly seen in the part A rather than part B. So remote sensing numericals are important for part A section. Engineering geology very important. 2 to 3 questions can be asked in an average. 2 to 3 questions can be asked from engineering geology section also. So this is about an overall idea about like part B syllabus and type of question that can be asked from each topic. So from which particular topic they will ask a numerical question. I hope this is clear for everybody, right? From which particular topic they will ask a numerical question, from which particular topic they will ask from when it comes to geomorphology, match the following type of question is very common. From paleontology and stratigraphy also, match the following questions are very common. From resource geology also, sometimes they'll ask match the following type questions will be asked. Then MSQ question, MCQ question, that we won't be able to predict. They can ask MSQ question, they can ask MCQ question depending upon topics actually. Pictorial questions can be asked from igneous petrology, like they'll give you a two component system image, like a phosphate phyllite, any system, solid solution or any component system will be given, and they can ask you a numerical question from there. So pictorial questions can be asked from igneous petrology. Also from engineering geology also, they have asked pictorial questions. Like in 2017 there was a question from engineering geology. They gave a picture of a landslide section. Systematic image of landslide was provided, and they have asked dilation index. So those kind of questions are also can be like asked, pictorial questions. So this is all about the part B geology, or all about the GATE syllabus. So what are the topics that we have seen now? We saw the GATE syllabus of general aptitude, GATE syllabus of part A, and GATE syllabus of part B. Part A is combined geophysics and geology paper. Part B is only for geology candidate. Both like 3 different types of questions can be asked. MCQ, multiple choice question, multiple selection question, numerical ability test, like NAT questions can also be asked. MSQ and NAT questions does not have, like they don't have a negative mark, but MCQ questions do have negative marking. So every part A and part B there is 1 mark and 2 mark questions. Like if it is a 1 mark question, there is a negative marking of 1/3. If there is 2 mark question, there is negative marking of 2/3. So I hope entire GATE syllabus and exam pattern is clear for everyone. Let's go further to the next examination, that is CSIR NET paper. We have discussed the examination pattern. Let's see the syllabus of CSIR NET examination. Part A is general aptitude. General aptitude section of CSIR NET examination is very similar with GATE paper. Questions are also very similar. In either paper there is pictorial representations of questions can be there, graphical questions can be asked, probability, permutation, combination related questions can be asked. So these are the major topics of general aptitude section. So over here we can see there is reasoning, quantitative aptitude section, data interpretation, graphical analysis, all these questions are there. Very similar with the GATE aptitude section. Next is part B, Earth, atmospheric, ocean, planetary science section. So what are the topics that you should study for getting a good rank in CSIR NET? You should have a good idea about earth science, oceanography part, atmospheric science part, and planetary science part. In earth science there is geophysics and geology section. Let's see one by one each topic. First is Earth and the solar system. Earth and solar system, this is actually for part B. Okay, part B section. So I hope you guys remember about the pattern that we have discussed. In part B there are 50 questions provided, out of which maximum number of attempt can be 35, and each question is carries 2 mark, and there is a negative marking of 25% is also present. So in this 2 mark section, part B section, these are the 5 major topics that you have to study. The entire earth and solar system, or I can say that is the planetary science that we teach over here, planetary science paper. Earth materials, surface features and processes, that is related to geomorphology. Interior of earth, deformation and tectonics, that is the geodynamics, geotectonics portion. Oceans and atmosphere, oceanography and atmospheric science part. Environmental earth science, the entire earth and geology sections. These are the major topics for part B of CSIR NET. Let's see part C. So part C of CSIR NET, I can divide it into geology topics, oceanography topics, meteorology topics, geophysics topics, etc. Like I can divide them into each topics. So though you are a geology student, we have to concentrate, like depends upon you. If you are an oceanography student, you have to concentrate on oceanography topics, because in part C there will be a total of 80 questions and maximum number of attempt is 25. So it's up to you. If you are good in oceanography, concentrate on oceanography, score maximum mark from that, then go to the other topics. If you are good in meteorology part, the atmospheric science part, go through those questions and score maximum from there, then come back to the other topics to fill the, like maximum attempt is 25 to attempt rest of the 20, like whatever questions are left to reach 25, you can solve like that. So over here these are the geology topics that I have mentioned. So as I said, in net examination from part C, 10 to 12 to 10 to 15 is the range of numerical questions they ask. So from geology also numerical questions can become. Mainly geology questions are associated with geophysics in net examination. Geophysics questions, remote sensing question, structural geology, engineering geology, etc. or geology, the hydrogeology. These are the major topics from which numerical questions do come in net examination. Mainly that is geophysics. Mainly numerical questions do come from geophysics rather than any other topics. So when it comes to geology, you have to have a good idea about mineralogy and petrology. Mineralogy and crystallography topics are very important. Then igneous and metamorphic petrology is what is mentioned over here. Like in this particular topic head, we discuss about mineralogy, crystallography, igneous and metamorphic petrology in detail. Then structural geology and geotectonics portion. When it comes to the structural geology section, numerical questions, pictorial questions, etc. can be asked from structural geology. Geotectonics is also very important. Numerical questions do ask, like questions related to spreading rate and etc. can be asked. So numericals can be asked from this particular section over here. Then paleontology questions, match the following questions will be asked from paleontology. Sedimentology and stratigraphy section is also very important. Match the following questions will be asked. Sedimentology is very important topic for CSIR NET examination. They repeatedly ask, like there are some topics which they do repeat every year from sedimentology. So sedimentology structures are actually very important, especially sedimentary structures. When it comes to marine geology and paleo oceanography part, you should have an idea about the closing of ocean, opening of ocean, age of ocean, all the tectonic movements that has happened. All those details are very important. Geochemistry, numerical questions can be asked, conceptual questions can be asked. The evolution of earth that has happened, the geochemical evolution of earth is very important. Numerical conceptual questions are asked from radioactive isotope, stable isotope portion, along with radioactive isotope evolution on earth is also very important. Next is economic geology portion. That is ore geology section. Numericals can be asked. Rarely numericals come from there, and match the following questions do come from economic geology portion. Remote sensing and GIS, it's very important. Remote sensing questions related to satellites is very important over here in CSIR NET. Whereas in GATE, more technical questions, more questions related to electromagnetic spectrum or questions related to the interaction of light with different particles, etc. Those kind of questions will be asked in GATE. Whereas over here, it's mainly about different satellites, like different satellites and its details. The Indian satellites or foreign satellites and its details are actually asked over here. Next is engineering geology. engineering geology, say mainly they ask about stress, strain, Mohr circle, failure related questions, or Young's modulus, the modulus related questions actually. They don't ask much about engineering properties, or they don't ask much about the dam, tunnel, structures, etc. But in GATE, they do ask questions from these structures also, they do ask questions from the engineering evaluation techniques also. But in NET examination, it's mainly about the stress strain parameters over here. Then hydrogeology questions, numerical questions related to porosity, specific yield, all those numerical questions and conceptual questions will be asked. Geomorphology is very important. From all these topics, maximum number of questions will be from geomorphology. Like when you compare all these topics, maximum questions will be asked from geomorphology. More than 5 questions will be from minimum. Okay, minimum 5 questions will be asked from geomorphology itself. So for NET examination, we should have a detailed knowledge of geomorphology. It's not like GATE. In GATE, geomorphology is not very important, not an important topic. But for NET examination, in GATE, they will ask you direct question, very simple, direct, match the following question. But over here, you should have a detailed knowledge about fluvial geology, especially fluvial geomorphology part. What is the changes happening to a particular river system during the down, discharge, change in discharge in the downstream direction, how meandering and braided channel variations, etc. Like all the technical part is very important. Also, the numerical section related to geomorphology is important for NET examination. So geomorphology is not very important for GATE, but very important for NET. In GATE, it's important. They ask 2 questions will be there from geomorphology, but those questions were very simple, will be very simple. Comparing with NET, geomorphology questions in GATE is much more simpler. But in NET examination, more complicated, more conceptual questions will be asked. So that's about the CSIR NET Part C syllabus of geology. Let's see the next, what else you have to study. We have to study about geophysics, we have to study about meteorology, the atmospheric science portion. You have to study about oceanography, ocean science also in Part C. So here in KP classes, we do teach along with the geology section, there will be a class for geophysics, oceanography and meteorology. We'll cover the important topics that repeatedly asked in NET examination. Those important topics will be covered. So if you are thorough with the geology section, you will be able to score, you will be able to get JRF or lectureship with the basic knowledge about oceanography, meteorology and geophysics. So that knowledge will be, like, enough knowledge will be provided from us. There is a separate section, a detailed class of oceanography, a detailed section of atmospheric science and a detailed section of geophysics will be there from our side. So let's move on to the next topic, that is the syllabus of combined geoscientist examination, preliminary paper syllabus. So as I said, preliminary paper of combined geoscientist examination consists of 2 different paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 is of general studies. So please have a look at the general studies section. Yes, so when it comes to the general science paper or general studies, not general science, sorry, general studies paper, we should have an idea about the current events, like current affairs are very important. Like you have to have a minimum knowledge of 6 months prior to the examination, or 2 to 3 months prior to the examination, what are till there, like 1 year duration, current affairs are very important. Then History of India and Indian national movement, Indian and world geography, Indian polity and governance, constitution, political system, panchayat raj, public policy, right issues, etc. Economical and social development part, general issues on environmental ecology, biodiversity, climate change that do not require subject specializations. Then the general science part. General science is the basic science that we have learned from our 7th standard. 7, 8, 9, 10. In these 4 classes, the what are the basic science, physics, chemistry, maths that you have learned. That is more than enough for the general science section. So, even the NCERT environmental science section EVS chapters are much more than enough for the entire section. For other than current events of national and international importance, other than the current affairs part, this for all other topics over here, this entire section, international history of Indian and international movement, Indian world geography, Indian polity, all these, these 3 are actually there in the textbook, right? NCERT textbook. That is what you have to study. Economic and social development, sustainability, general issues of environmental ecology, all these things are actually mentioned in the NCERT textbook. If you study that, that's more than enough. We do provide a separate general science, general studies section for the GSI aspirants over here, whoever joined for the GSI section. We do provide a separate general studies section where we'll provide the current affairs classes, and also along with the current affairs classes, there will be the other syllabus parts will also be covered. So, that's about paper 1. Let's see about the paper 2. So, paper 2 of preliminary examination, I can divide that into 10 different subjects. So, when it comes to paper 2, as I explained it to you, paper 2 geology paper is of 120 questions will be there, 2-hour section, and that's of 300 mark. So, if you have an idea about physical geology, means the geomorphology section, structural geology, mineralogy, igneous petrology, metamorphic petrology, sedimentology, paleontology, stratigraphy, economic geology and hydrogeology. These are the 10 subjects that you have to study. When it comes to numerical questions will be there, but they may not be like a GATE numerical question or a NET numerical question. It's entirely different. Numerical question of it's mainly an analytical question actually. An analytical question will be asked. Mainly numerical questions are asked from hydrogeology. Numerical questions will be asked. Sometimes numerical question will be asked from igneous petrology also. Even though geochemistry is not mentioned in the syllabus, they do ask about questions of geochemical evolution of earth, which actually included under the physical geology topic. So, geochemical evolution of earth sections are very important. If I may say, in GATE and NET examination, I told you in NET examination the most important subject is geomorphology. When in GATE also I can literally say which are the, as I said, I can this many number of questions will be asked from this particular topic, the numerical questions will be asked from this particular subject, right. But when it comes to GSI paper, almost equal number of questions are asked from entire topics. How many igneous questions are there? Same number of questions will be there from metamorphic petrology. So, every subject is important for combined geoscientist examination. Every subject is important. You should have a good knowledge about geomorphology, you should have a good knowledge about ore geology also, stratigraphy also, paleontology also. Every subject is important for GSI preliminary examination. Now, when it comes to the mains paper, as I said, I can divide the paper into paper 1, paper 2 and paper 3. Then along with these 3 paper, if I am giving hydrogeology, then there will be a paper for hydrogeology is also there, especially for hydrogeology. In the paper 1, it's the physical geology, remote sensing. Okay, you might have noticed one thing. In the GSI paper, remote sensing is not included in the prelims section. In the paper 2 of preliminary, there is no remote sensing. But in when it comes to the descriptive part, mains examination, remote sensing is included in the paper 1. Structural geology, sedimentology, paleontology, stratigraphy. These are the 5 topics under paper 1. In paper 2, it's mineralogy, geochemistry, igneous petrology, metamorphic petrology and geotectonics. In paper 3, it's economic geology, Indian mineral deposits, mineral exploration, fuel geology, coal and petroleum, that's fuel geology, coal, petroleum and mineral resources of India. In detail, engineering geology and environmental geology. These are the topics that you have to study for paper 3. Then, if you are it's up to you whether you are giving the examination for GSI scientist A grade post, then you just have to attend paper 1, paper 2 and paper 3. If you are applying for hydrogeology scientist B post in CGWB, you need to give paper 1, paper 2 and the hydrogeology paper. You don't need to write paper 3. If you are giving the examination for both GSI and CGWB post, then you have to write all the 4 paper 1, paper 2, paper 3 and paper 4 is mandatory. When it comes to all these 3 different paper, each paper is of 3-hour duration and of 200 mark each. 3-hour, 200 mark each. So that's about the combined geoscientist examination syllabus in detail. So let's move on to the next topic, that's about the cutoff mark. You guys were asking about cutoff mark, right? So let's discuss about the cutoff mark of GATE, GSI and NET CSIR examination in detail. What is a cutoff mark? A cutoff mark means what? Cutoff mark means that's the minimum mark I have to get to qualify that particular examination. To qualify that particular examination, how much I have to score. That is what is defined by a cutoff mark. When it comes to GATE entrance examination, this is an average cutoff mark actually. From the last few years, I just mentioned the average cutoff mark over here. So when it comes to the GATE examination, the general cutoff is 48.7, OBC cutoff mark, non-creamy layer or EWS cutoff mark is 43.8, SC/ST cutoff mark is PWD category cutoff mark is 32.4. This is the cutoff mark for GATE examination. So like let's go with the general mark itself. Like you have to get a 48.7%, that is mandatory. Like 48.7 is mandatory. Out of 100 marks, minimum is 48.7 to get just to get qualify in GATE. But that's not enough, right? Qualifying in every year, minimum 6,000 or a range of 6,000 to 8,000 students appear for GATE examination. If I get a mark of 48.7 out of 100, that means my rank will be something 600, yes, 700, 800. That is not at all in use. If I have a rank, if I get a score, a rank below 100, if my rank is below 100, then only I'll be able to get a job in a PSU. Or if I get a rank below 200, then only that's useful for getting an admission in an MTech master degree in IITs or getting a PhD from an IIT. For getting an admission for MTech or PhD, I have to have a rank below 200, or for getting a job, I require a rank minimum. Like if I go getting rank below 50, that's the best. So getting this score is not at all enough. Maximum score, like the topper goes up to 76, 78 will be the score of the topper. So you should have a score above 65 in GATE examination, always go for a mark above 65 minimum. Okay, minimum 65 should be there to get a decent rank. So always opt for or whenever you prepare for GATE examination, prepare as if you need a mark above 65 out of 100. Then only you will get a decent rank. So I hope this cutoff of GATE and its importance is understood for everyone. Next is cutoff of NET CSIR examination. When it comes to NET CSIR examination, as I said, I can we write NET examination for either JRF fellowship, junior research fellowship, or for lectureship, or for both. When it comes to JRF, for an earth science aspirant, look over here, for an earth science student, the JRF, for getting a JRF fellowship, NET CSIR fellowship, I have to, for an unreserved category person, 60.8% or 61% is required for qualifying. 61%. NET examination is out of 200 mark. You should have 60% of that should be scored. Mark should be above 120, should be there to score a good, to get a junior research fellowship. When it comes to lectureship, we require a 54% or 55% of mark is required for qualifying lectureship. So you can see, depending upon your category, the score is mentioned over here for earth science. Unreserved 60% for junior research fellowship, 54% for EWS, 53 for OBC, 46 for SC, 42 for ST, PWD 26%. For lectureship, yeah, assistant professor. For unreserved category, it's 54%. EWS category, it is 49%. OBC category, it's 47%. SC category 41%, ST 38, PWD 25%. So this is the percentage of mark, minimum mark, percentage of mark, percentage required for qualifying the JRF year lectureship of NET examination. So this, I hope it's clear for everyone. This is 2022 examination, like the last examination of NET was 2023 June. This was of 2022 examination. Okay, 23, it's not, 23 result has not come yet. So this is of 2022 examination cutoff. So always the average cutoff is actually mainly 60%, in between 60-65 is the cutoff of NET examination. So you have to, whenever, if you are preparing for NET examination, if you want a JRF, when you give the exam, you have to score a minimum 65% you have to score, so that you will be able to get a JRF or junior research fellowship. Or for, if you are opting for lectureship, you have to go for 55% minimum of your JRF paper, NET CSIR paper. Next, let's go to the UPSC cutoff mark. So for UPSC cutoff mark, over here you can see, when it comes to this is last year 2022 exam cutoff is mentioned over here. So look at the cutoff. There were, this is 2022, so there were, this was the vacancy, 2021 actually, not 2022, 2021, 2022 year, 2021 year's paper. So the general category vacancy was 39, EW was 11, OBC 28, SC 15, ST 7. Total 100 vacancies were there, and in that vacancy, after those things are about the vacancy. When it comes to the qualifying mark, you have to score from the preliminary, you have to score 171 out of 400, like 100 marks from the general science paper, general studies paper, 300 from the mains paper. Combining these two, out of 400, you have to score 171 as a minimum mark. Minimum 171 is required for qualifying. Then in the mains paper, out of 1000, you have to score 408 minimum 408 for qualifying into the into the interview. So altogether 577 out of 1200 is mandatory for the as the qualifying mark, like cutoff mark at the final stage. Out of 1200 it is 577. This is the minimum mark. Maximum you score, maximum the safe you will be, right? Maximum mark you have, the safe you will be when you reach the interview position. This is for geologist group A. Let's see for hydrogeologist. Okay, and when it comes to other category, EWS, maximum mark for EWS is 524 out of 1200. OBC it's 536, 477 for SC, 439 for ST category. Now when it comes to hydrogeology scientist B, group A position, cutoff mark is 595 out of 1200, 542 for EWS category, 550 for OBC category, 527 for SC, 526 for ST category. Okay, now let's see about, so you guys have an idea, you guys understood about the competitive exams, syllabus, their pattern, cutoff marks. Now when it comes to us, KP classes, when we teach over here, when it comes to our coaching pattern, how are we going to discuss? So these are the structure of us teaching, like these are the topics that we are going to discuss in detail with you. We'll give you a detailed idea about what is hydrogeology. The entire details of hydrogeology will be provided. All the numerical questions related to hydrogeology will be solved in the class. For entire topics like GATE, hydrogeology is important. For GSI paper, for net examination, hydrogeology is an important topic. So we'll discuss hydrogeology in detail class. Engineering geology is important for GATE, NET and GSI paper. Engineering geology is important. Numerical questions do come from engineering geology. A detailed section for engineering geology will be provided. Coal and petroleum is important for GATE and GSI paper. Coal and petroleum is important. We'll give you a detailed section of that. Same goes with geochemistry, which is important for all the three examination. For GATE, numerical questions will be asked from geochemistry. For net examination also there will be numerical question. In GSI prelims, even though geochemistry is not mentioned, they ask questions from the geochemical evolution of earth. They ask questions related to rubidium strontium system, about the parent-daughter analysis, parent-daughter variations with time. All the conceptual questions are asked in GSI paper. So geochemistry is a very important topic which will be in detail defined over here. Geophysics, important for a numerical section. For both NET and GATE, numerical questions are asked from geophysics, which is hence important for scoring a good mark. You have to go for NAT question because there is no negative mark. If you score an NAT question, that's a plus point, right? So geophysics also will be taught in detail. Ore and economics, numerical questions from ore and economics will be related to true thickness, apparent thickness related questions will be asked. Those numericals will be covered. Entire conceptual questions, Indian mineral resource distribution, different types of ore, all the details will be provided. Metamorphic petrology, geomorphology, sedimentology, entire details. Igneous petrology, ternary system, binary system, numericals related to all those terms are very important for GATE especially. Igneous petrology is very important, will be covered in our class. Stratigraphy, paleontology, match the following kind of questions will be asked. We'll be teaching you that. Remote sensing is important for numerical questions in both in GATE and NET. Remote sensing is very important along with geographical information system. We'll be teaching you remote sensing. Geotectonics is important for numerical question in GATE and NET, and conceptual question from geotectonics will be asked in GSI. So geotectonics is also important. Structural geology, numerical is important for all the different type of examination. A very important topic in detail will be discussed. Mineralogy, crystallography will also be discussed in the class. So these are the entire geology course. I can divide the geology topics into 16 different topics, etc. Every topics will be discussed. Other than these subjects, will be also explaining about planetary science, climatology, oceanography, general aptitude and UPSC paper 1. Planetary science will be explained, climatology, oceanography will be explained, general aptitude section will be explained, and paper 1 of UPSC preliminary section, that is a general studies section. The extra classes will be provided for these subjects other than geology and geophysics. If you are opting for NET CSIR examination, if you are not from a oceanography background or atmospheric science background, you are from a geology background student, you don't know about these subjects, we are giving us classes for oceanography and climatology along with planetary science and aptitude. For GATE, there will be classes, geology, geophysics and aptitude will be provided. Planetary science will also be provided to the GATE students. For GSI students, aptitude is not required because the entire paper general studies section is entirely different. That will be taught in a separate section. So this is about the topics that we are going to explain over here, subject wise classification. When it comes to preparation pattern, there are different ways of courses that we provide over here. It's up to you which particular course that you have to choose. If you want to choose an online class section, online live section is available, offline section is available, there is recorded classes, test series will be provided to you, study material will be provided to you. All these resources are here. So what are the resources that we provide? There is online study material. If you want offline study material in printed format, you will get study material. There will be test series provided. For each particular type of examination, there will be different mock tests available. There will be recorded lectures, so that if you have ever missed a live section, you can again go back and see the recorded lecture again and again. So all these will be provided to you and will cover the entire topics of geology. In 6 months, will cover entire topics of geology and will be repeating the topics again, so that you will be thorough with the subject. And there will be a revision section just before the examination, 1 month before examination. Whether it is NET examination, GSI or GATE, there will be 1 month before the examination, there will be a revision section. And if it is GATE paper, which is numerical questions are very important over there, 1 month before GATE, will be conducting a numerical question, specifically numerical question section before 1 month of GATE paper. So this is about the preparation patterns that we follow over here. We complete the entire syllabus in 6 months, then we'll again teach you the topic so that you will be thorough with that. Every Monday, like every Mondays, there will be a new batch starting. You can join as an online live student, or you can join as an offline student, or you can opt for recorded lectures. There will be doubt sections provided to you. There will be test series provided to you. Class test will be there. Mock test will be there, and study materials which are recently revised, and previous year questions will be given along with the test series. There is previous year questions are also, along with the study material, there is previous year questions are also mentioned over there. When it comes to joining our batch, from tomorrow a new batch is starting. We are providing you a scholarship test. The link for the scholarship test is given in the description box. If you score, depending upon your score in the scholarship test, you can avail up to 75% off in the coaching. fees depending upon the coaching you want, whether it is an offline coaching or online coaching. If you score a good mark in the scholarship test, depending upon your score, up to 75% off is there for the batch starting tomorrow. So those who want to join in the 3rd July batch, please attend the scholarship test for availing the off of up to 75% of our course fee. And for knowing about the course fee details, you guys can call us in the number given over here. Whether you want an offline class, या online class, या recorded lecture or study material, or whether you require a mock test, or if you have any doubt related to any of the details that I have mentioned over here, please contact us in this particular number. We'll help you out in knowing the details of our section, and you can follow us in our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and Telegram channels, or you can WhatsApp us in the number over here, so that we'll give you the details of the courses. Don't forget to avail the scholarship test if you require a 75% off. Details of scholarship test and the link is given in the description box. So I hope entire details about geology subject, the entire details of all the different competitive examination, pattern of exam, the topics that you have to study, cut-off marks you require to qualify a particular examination, everything has been described in detail over here. I hope you got an idea about what is knowledge point, what we KP classes, what are we, and what we give offer you over from here. We offer, I repeat, we offer offline, online, recorded lecture sections, study material, test series, mock test, whatever thing you want for qualifying a GATE, NET or a GSI entrance examination for geology aspirants. We are providing that from here. Or if you are preparing for a state PSU, for TNPSC, for Rajasthan PSC, for Madhya Pradesh PSC examination, in any state PSU you are preparing for, according to that particular state PSU, we are arranging a course depending upon the syllabus given in their notification. So those recorded lectures can also be availed. You guys can download our KP GATE classes application. Courses are mentioned over there, or you can call us in this particular number for the details. So if you guys have any Q&A question related to the section given over here, you guys can ask me now. I'll be answering your questions. I'll be giving you explanations. So please, any doubts, I'll help you out. Gunaselan, qualifying mark for GATE examination, I have mentioned that, right? Cutoff mark for GATE, a minimum, like you can go for 48%. 48 out of 100 is required. This was the cutoff. Like, so every year the cutoff will be 48 to 49, yeah, 50. Like you keep it, every year the cutoff is increasing. So keep it in mind that it will be above 48 actually. So understand that like 48 say upper you have to get for getting a GATE qualification. That's just to qualify. But study as if you need a mark of 65 or above. Above 65 is mandatory to get a better rank. If I opted for JRF but I got cutoff marks of lectureship, will I be eligible for? No, you have to, while filling the form, you have to fill the form accordingly. Like there is an option for JRF or lectureship for both. You have to opt for that both option, then only you will be able to qualify eligible for lectureship. Okay, Preeta, please whenever you fill an application, please be sure that even in GSI paper, please opt for both hydrogeology and geology section, because there is no much difference, right? Like even if you are a geology aspirant, if you are a fresher, you can opt for both. If you are an experienced working person, it's up to you whether you require a geology or hydrogeology. That's up to you. Otherwise, opt for both. Any other question? Is there any other doubt, or shall I wind up? So I hope that's it. Let's wind up then. So once again, thank you so much for everyone, those who have joined. Thank you so much. So if you guys have to reach upon me, my name is Rukuraju. I have given an intro about myself in the initial part of the video. So any details you require, if you guys want to talk to me about, if you guys have any doubt and you want to talk to me about geology examination or geology subjects, you guys can contact in this number. They will arrange a meeting with me. Or if you want to give get a demo class from KP classes, then also there is a link given in the description box. Fill that link. We'll provide a demo class, a trial class will be provided to you, and you can opt, like you will understand how the setup, how do we teach over here, what is the setup. If you require an online live class or whether you require an offline class, demo classes will be provided to you, and you can opt for what type of class you want. So this is all about the section. Entire geology orientation is done over here. Any doubts or any requirements, any further details of course, study material, patterns or anything, please contact us in this particular number or WhatsApp in this number. We'll give you the details. So thank you so much for everyone who have joined over here. Thank you guys who have discussed your doubts with me. Let's meet in another live section. Subscribe to our channel for getting geology related videos. Thank you so much guys.